You know, Fort Collins might actually be the best place on the planet to put in a PV system. Here's 6 reasons why. Reason 1, it's sunny. It's really sunny here. I didn't know this until I moved here, but we actually get as much sunshine as Cairo. You know, that place that's always depicted with loads of clouds over it. Reason 2, altitude. Fort Collins is actually at about 5,000 feet, which is about 1,500 meters. That's high enough that you get about 11% more efficiency out of your solar panels because there's less atmosphere in the way, and therefore you get more UV light into them. Who knew? Reason 3, latitude. We're about 40.5 degrees north, which means we get reasonably long summer evenings, but we don't get stupidly short winter days, which means that the system is somewhat balanced between summer and winter. Any further south, then you'd end up getting really hot. Any further north, and you'd end up with the sun coming up at 3:45, like it does in England, for example. Reason 4, the tax regime here is pretty friendly for home use of PV systems. If you're interested, I'm happy to produce a video talking through what the incentives look like for Colorado generally and Fort Collins specifically. But the system of both state, city and federal incentives for PV installation here are pretty impressive. Now, whether that will last, who knows? I can't pretend I'm unhappy that I put my PV system in 2024. Reason 5, the temperature. Yeah, we get hot summer days. It can be 100 degrees Fahrenheit in the day, but it drops significantly in the evening. Even in the height of summer, it won't be any warmer than 70 degrees at night. And in the winter, yeah, it gets proper cold here. But it does mean that you don't need to have massive HVAC systems, which most of us still do. And as a result, you don't need to burn quite as much electricity as you would elsewhere. Reason 6, time of use tariffs. So Fort Collins has time of use tariffs, as does most places, which of any sensibility at least, which means that you pay 3 times more on peak than you do off peak. Well, why is that an advantage, you think to yourself? The advantage is you can sell it back to the grid at very close to that triple the price. So you could generate it at low cost, or you can even pull it out of the grid at very low cost and then sell it back to the grid during peak hours. And that works really well if you have a very short period, like say 4 hours, where you're on peak. Oh, and guess how long Fort Collins has on peak electricity costs? That's right, 4 hours. So it's a pretty good system. Oh, here's a bonus reason. Fort Collins is beautiful. In fact, all of northern Colorado is. We're not up in the mountains, but we're up against them. So you don't have the stupid travel problems you do living in the mountains, and you don't have the cost of living that living in the mountains gives you, but you do have the opportunity to visit them. And of course, all the water that comes off the mountains as snow melt makes beautiful tap water and even better beer. We got trees, even though it's as sunny as Cairo, because the water comes through us from the rivers, not from the sky. So it's pretty good. If you're interested, I'd be happy to dive into all of these 6 reasons in some detail. And if you'd like to compare and contrast it with wherever it is you are in the world, it could be a fun discussion. All right, onwards and upwards. Next, we're going to talk about what system I installed.